What's up, guys? Spartan 85 here. The new console version is out. I just got it installed, and we are rocking on the Xbox Series S right now. And it looks amazing. I'm so excited, and I know there's a lot of people playing right now. And I kind of wanted to go through real quick on the options and the settings, real quick. If you guys have any questions, I'm going to run through some of those. Try to cover everything. So this is the loading screen right here. If you go to options, there's a lot of different options here. A couple things I want to recommend to you guys though real quick. If you go to video, you can adjust your field of view. If the game maybe is stuttering or you know, maybe not running very well, you can take down your field of view a little bit, kind of like in Minecraft. You can lessen your field of view, what's being rendered in. The default right now is 65% or 65, whatever. I also would recommend turning off motion blur. Hamper your system a little bit if you're, especially if you're like me running the Series S. So I would recommend turning that off. Plus, it kind of makes makes me dizzy, and it's not very good for content creating too. So I do recommend turning that off. You can also turn your brightness up a little bit too if you want. If you want a brighter game, there's the brightness. I also do want to say the keyboard and mouse does work. If you go to keyboard mouse settings, you can adjust it. It's a little slow. I've kind of adjusted a little bit, but it is there. It's kind of, there's a little bit of delay to the mouse, and this is for Xbox. I'm not sure about PlayStation, but keyboard and mouse does work if you want to try that. I'm going to turn mine back down, but anyway, yeah, there's a little bit of a delay in there. I don't know if there's something setting I need to work on with that, and I might work on that. But if you do want to rock keyboard and mouse, it does seem to work. And when you create a game, when you go to new game, you click on that, it will have you create your character. But if, say, you mess it up or you want to change anything, you can always go back to player profile and change whatever you want. You can go back to create. You can create a brand new character if you want. Go in and change everything. So if you do want to make any changes or create another character, player profile is where you want to go. There's a handful of other options in there that I'm not going to go over because I think most of them are pretty self-explanatory. Also in the audio settings, guys, they added a profanity filter. And it's mainly because the first trader you go to is Trader Wrecked, and every other word out of his mouth is a cuss word. So if you're playing with your kids, or maybe you're, playing with some of your family that's not into the profanity or something like that, and I play with my son and daughter, and I don't want to hear a cuss word every 3 words. I do cuss, but yeah, sometimes you just don't want to hear it all the time. So there is a profanity filter now you can turn on. I'm really glad they added that in, just to have that option for people that just don't want to be, hear a cuss word every other word from Wrecked, and then, Joel, and later on Hugh, So just wanted to point that out to you guys, that is an option in the game. Let's go to the actual game creation screen. Now, obviously, we have the Navezgane available right now, the game world. So you can name your world whatever you want, and then you have all the pre-gen maps that came loaded. Looks like we have 04. We have 4 of the 4K maps. Looks like we're going to have 4 of the 6K maps, 4 of the 8K maps, and that's what we have right now. So 12 is that 12 maps? Yeah, I can't do math very well. 12 maps installed. All these are pre-gen. Or you can play the Navezgane. And I will say, if you're coming from Legacy, Navezgane has underwent a massive overhaul. Dyersville is still there, and Parishton and Gravestown is all still there, but there's POIs everywhere now. They've all been updated. You can enable your server if you want. Looks like all we have is max is 2 players right now, so maybe that'll get expanded later. But looks like you can have an online game. It's most likely going to be just for Xbox people, because we don't have crossplay right now. So just keep that in mind. It's only for another Xbox person, or if you're on PlayStation, another PlayStation person. There's the difficulty setting, of course. Adventure is the default. Persistent profiles, its default is off. If you want to turn it on, you have to use that same profile in the game. If you leave it off, it allows changing your player profile in the game, in this game you're creating. So off is default. Player profile is the character you create at the very beginning of the game. So if you leave it off, you can switch between profiles if you want, bring in a different profile in the game. XP multiplier is exactly what it sounds like. It multiplies your XP. So if you want a quicker game, like if you want crazier Horde Nights or something, you can go up to 300%. Basically, you're going to level up a lot faster, but you're also going to get in-game zombies, and your loot stage is going to increase a lot faster. So that's fun to do if you really want a faster game. Let's say do a Horde every night with 300% XP. You're going to have massive hordes by day 3. Maybe even by day 2. It's very fast game. I generally think 150 is a pretty fun way to play. It just it makes the game go a tad faster, but 100 is also pretty good too. There's your 24-hour cycle, just like in Legacy, just how long it takes to get through one 24-hour, and the daylight length. Basically, if you go 18, means that 4 a.m. is daylight when zombies stop running. Go to 16, then it'd be 6 a.m. when they stop running. This is where we get a lot more options under basic for the console version. You can change the blood moon frequency. So if you want to do horde every night, you can go down to 1 day, or maybe you want to do horde every 5 nights, whatever, you can adjust it. If you want to turn off the blood moon, you can and disable it. I had somebody in comments asking me, how do I just turn off blood moons? You can do that now. You can turn off blood moons. This is one of my favorite things to do. The blood moon range is like random horde night. So let's set it to 1 day. And then let's set the blood moon's range to, let's say, 3 days. Now the blood moon can happen anytime up to 3 days after what you set it at. So if it's horde every night with a blood moon's range of 3, you can have a blood moon either on day 1, 2, or 3. And then once you have a blood moon, it resets back to that 3 blood moon range. So it's basically random horde nights. It's a very fun way to play, especially if you want to pick on your friends and stuff and don't tell them it's random horde nights. And if you want to have a little more fun, turn off the blood moon warning. You can disable that. So basically that tells you at 8 a.m. if you're having a horde. The little timer will go red at the top. So if you want to have a lot of fun, then turn off the blood moon warning and you won't know there's a horde until 6 p.m. when the thunder starts. Blood moon count, well, on Legacy, I think it was default 8 zombies, I think is what we had. We couldn't do anything more. And you can go all the way up to 64 zombies. So that's how many zombies you have per player in the game on blood moons. So 64 is a lot of zombies. It's a lot of fun, but you better have a really good base. So have fun with that. 32 is still a lot of zombies. 24 is still a lot of zombies, but have fun with that. Or like I said, maybe you want to just do a small horde night. You want to do 4 enemies. You want to do a test on a horde base. So you can have a lot of fun with that. Zombie day speed, that's pretty self-explanatory. Do you want them to walk or run to the day? Jog is actually a lot of fun. They're not as slow. They're so slow sometimes. So jog is a really fun way to play. Zombie night speed, you have a choice between, walk, jog, sprint, and of course Nightmare. Nightmare is basically running faster than you. They can catch up to you if you're trying to run away from them. Zombie feral speed, if you have feral zombies with those yellow eyes, is their speed. You can set that to Nightmare if you want, have them a little faster, or just sprint. Zombie blood moon speed is the actual blood moon zombies, how fast they are if you want them a little faster. Feral sense is something new in the the latest. I think it came out Alpha 20. I think is feral sense. Basically, they can sense you a little better. It's almost like having raw meat in your toolbar, like it was in the old Legacy version. They can just sense you. And so if you want to turn that on, there's a couple different options. You can go day, night, or all. So some people like to play with feral sense on at night just so they can fight during the night. It's almost like having another blood moon almost. Especially if you get like a wandering horde, they're really going to come after you. Airdrops, just like Legacy version, you can adjust these if you want every day, disabled, 3 days. You can go up to I think 7 days. If you want to mark the airdrops, you can have that on or off. And don't forget, if you screw all this up and you just want to go back to default, you can always just click default. And then you have advanced. So player block damage is how much damage we do to blocks, stone axes, shovels, whatever. So sometimes that's nicer if you're trying to, build a base and you don't want to sit there and hack with a level 1 stone axe, so you can turn that up. AI block damage is a really fun one to mess around. If you want the zombies to destroy your base or your house faster, turn that up. 300%, they will bring almost anything down. It's a really fun way to play. And another thing you can prank your buddies with. Turn up the AI block damage, but don't tell them. You can also just set it to the AI blood moon block damage. If you just want the blood moon zombies to do more damage, you can do that. Loot abundance, that was on Legacy version, so I think most of you probably know what loot abundance is, but that's a nice one to play if you're playing a specific challenge, like say, no traders or no crafting. You might want to turn up the loot. Loot respawn time is also in Legacy, so that's how long it takes after you loot a POI, how long it takes the loot to respawn. The chunk reset time is how long it takes for an actual chunk or something in the game to reset. So if you destroy a particular POI and you want it to reset, or let's say a block of stone or iron, how long you want that to reset. It's set to disabled. You can reset it if you want. Just keep that in mind if you are, really altering a world or destroying certain POIs or marking POIs, that they'll get reset. Death penalty is something they brought out with Alpha 21, I believe. So, you can do permadeath if you want. If you want to play a permadeath series, basically what that does is when you die, you do respawn into the world, but you have to start over basically with nothing on day one. So you're done. It erases everything. You can also do injured, you can also do the XP if you want, or you can do nothing. And so XP is kind of the default way if you want. You can start with injured, you know, something like that. Drop on death is, you know, what do you drop? Default is everything. I think we used to run on Legacy, used to do backpack only, but now it's everything. Just keep in mind that in this version, you can choose the option spawn near your backpack. So if you do die, you can spawn near your backpack. Just keep that in mind. You don't have to spawn at your bedroll all the time. Drop on quit. That's good for multiplayer worlds or something like that. But if you do quit the game, what do you drop? I really don't know why you would change that from nothing. But like I said, if it's a multiplayer world or a very specific challenge that you're doing, then you might want to use that. Enemy spawning on is basically just what it sounds like. Do you have enemies in the world? You can set it to off, and you'll have no zombies. A lot of people like to do that if you're just doing a creative build, you're trying to build a castle or something like that. You just don't want to, or some people just like to play this as a survival game with no zombies. Some people like to do that. And then creative mode is just what it sounds like. You can turn on the creative mode to have the creative menu. That was on Legacy version. If you ever played 7 Days to Die at all, I do recommend playing with that on so you can try different things out. Keep in mind though, you won't have achievements. So just keep that in mind. If you're an achievement hunter, do not mess with creative mode. And then daily quest progression limit. This was something added just, I don't know, a couple weeks ago. This is how many quests you can do for the trader on that particular day. So tier 1s, you can really bust out 3 or 4 a day. You can really bust them out. So if you do, you know, let's say 4 quests a day, day 3 you can get the bicycle because it takes 10 quests to get the bicycle. So if you want to mess around with that, you can set it to whatever you want. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You can do 1 if you want. If you're trying to do a world that only lets you do 1 quest a day, you know, maybe that makes you explore a little bit more. You can do something like that. And then you have the multiplayer settings. You know, you have player killing. Can you kill your allies? Can you hurt your allies? Something like that. So keep that in mind. I think kill strangers only is how it is right now. I think you can set it to you can kill everyone too. So keep that in mind if you're having a multiplayer world sometime, or if you're doing a PvP world, you might want to change that. These are all your claim for your land claim blocks. These are all the settings for your land claim blocks. So I just leave them default, but sometimes you do want to mess around with that, especially in like a multiplayer world. If crossplay does come out, this is where this really comes in handy because you're playing with strangers, stuff like that. There's your bedroll dead zone is 15 blocks. Zombies will not respawn within this block radius for your bedroll. So maybe you want to make that bigger. Maybe you're in a POI that's massive and you don't want zombies respawning, so maybe you want to turn that up a little bit more. Your bedroll duration, I honestly thought they were forever, but they are. You can set it to 45 days. Keep that in mind. 60 days. So I always thought they were forever, but they're not. Player shared kill range. So, you know, if you're in a party with somebody and you're sharing, you know, XP with them, that's the range that they have to be in to get the XP. So maybe you want to move that all the way up so no matter what they get XP, whatever, or you can disable it. And then the game port is used for you know, somebody joining your world. It's usually always 26900 for me. It might be something different for somebody on the other side of the world. So keep that in mind. That's pretty much it, guys. I wanted to just show you guys, go through some of these settings, explain them to the Legacy guys and maybe the people jumping into this game for the very first time. Like, what the heck is this game? I saw it on Xbox. I saw it on PlayStation Store. It sounds really cool. Those are the settings. Jump in. I'll be working on other tutorials. I do have a current getting started tutorial out right now too, so if you're jumping into the game, I recommend going to that video. I will link it in the description below, and that'll show you how to get started in this game. So thank you guys. I will catch you guys in the next episode, and see you later. Bye.